Hello, everyone. Time for another grump, and I seem to be stuck on a bit of a theme these days, which is accurate information about herbal safety. But I see stuff all the time. It makes me so grumpy. Uh, for example, there was a study recently that someone was taking stinging nettle and it caused you know galactorrhea, abnormal milk flow in a woman who was taking it. And in their rationale to explain why nettle leaf could do this, the woman was also taking some hormonal preparation, but of course, no, that wasn't responsible. It was this nettle leaf. Um, and in their rationale for it, they said, well, nettle, influences sex hormone binding globulin, and therefore there's a clear pathway that we can understand how this might happen. But not so. Dong dong. Sorry guys. Plant part. So this woman was consuming nettle leaf, and sure, there are studies that show that nettle influences sex hormone binding globulin, but they're nettle root. And plant parts have different effects, as you well know, because if you eat rhubarb stalks, you have a nice dessert. But if you eat the leaves, because of the oxalate they contain, they'll kill you. So, plant part, and these are the basics that people write up big scientific papers and they get peer reviewed and they don't even look at the basics. So, did the nettle cause the problem in this patient? I think it's highly unlikely, given that she was also taking a hormonal preparation. Something to look out for. But with all this misinformation, it makes me a bit grumpy because Simon Mills and I, after we finished the first edition of Principles and Practice of Phytotherapy, decided to write a definitive book, a resource on herbal safety. And the plan was that this book, it would be so objective and thorough and well researched, and indeed moderated by the fact that we understand herbs and have direct clinical experience with them. So don't see them as some sort of alien no-go zone that we have to write about because some idiots are out there taking them. We thought it would give a really balanced, credible resource to pharmacists, doctors, researchers, people writing up such papers like the one on the nettle leaf, all of these things. And so we had great ambitions that this would be more than just a useful reference for natural therapists using herbs. Well, that's my grump. It never happened, did it? That here we are now. The book is a bit dated, but it's still full of accurate information. And here we are, 15 years or so later, and the internet abounds with misinformation about herbal safety. The scientific journals abound with misinformation about herbal safety. Credible websites abound with misinformation about herbal safety. And patients are told a whole load of, untruths about herbal safety in many cases in clinical settings. So it hasn't worked. I'm sorry, we tried, but at least you have, and I have, a useful research so that we can safely practice the use of herbs. Thanks for listening to my grump.